Camille Gauthier, daughter of Lester Gauthier, lawyer, fellow member of the Lafayette Bar, and nominator of Lester Gauthier. So I nominated my dad for this honor, and when my dad learned that he had received this, he was apparently told that there was a very impressive nomination packet. And so he has been asking me for weeks if he could see the nomination packet, and I told him that it was privileged and I have not let him see it. But I figured I could summarize or tell him some of the things that I said in there now. And the primary thing that I said was when I was growing up, my dad was a lawyer, and I would always hear him talk about his cases and was aware of kind of what was going on. And as a daughter, and maybe as all daughters do, I always assumed that my dad was, competent and good at his job and ethical and, potentially well respected among his colleagues. Well, 8 years ago, I became a lawyer myself, and I ended up working at the Lafayette Parish Clerk's Office. I interned in the Western District, and I clerked for Judge Davis on the Fifth Circuit. And in each and every one of those experiences, there were so many times that judges, members of the court staff, members of the bar, sometimes adversaries of my dad in cases, would come up to me and tell me what an ethical, courteous, competent, good lawyer that my dad is. And so I guess that experience of having kind of unsolicited praise and people sharing what a good lawyer that they thought my dad was made me realize that's not just my opinion of him as a daughter, but that's an opinion shared by his colleagues in the courts.
Lester was one of the people I think they call the Blue Coats, who sponsored an individual team, which meant that he met with them, he provided them with information, he talked with the coach about places to eat, places to visit. He sat on the bench, and he took way more responsibility and way more credit than he was entitled to for the two state championships that the Zwally team from Sabine Parish won. He was really proud of the coach and the team. And
Lester's daughter Camille mentioned earlier about Lester asking to look at his nomination file. Well, I don't know about looking at his nomination file, but I will tell you one thing that Lester does not have to look at or see to know what's in it, and that's a bourrée hand. Lester is an expert at bourrée. During a bourrée game, one of the keen senses that Lester has is of a renege. Lester can close his eyes and smell a renege without ever seeing it or seeing the cards. If there were a Hall of Fame for bourrée players, Lester would certainly be in that Hall of Fame.
So one of the questions in the nomination packet was, what is the person you're nominating interested in, or what are sort of their civic activities they do outside of the law? And my answer for my dad was quite lengthy and quite interesting. I think anyone that knows him knows he has an unbridled enthusiasm for Lafayette, Cajun culture, Cajun heritage, Cajun music, and food at Dwyer's Cafe. My dad is one of the founding members of the French table at Dwyer's, so once a week he speaks and sings French very loudly there. And he typically consumes at least 2 meals a day at Dwyer's.
This love of his culture, in addition to the fact that he was raised loin là-bas au Maurice, and that he has a law degree, lends itself to being very keen on local politics, particularly in the Acadiana area.
He put on a tennis tournament once he had graduated from law school for all of his friends at Beaver Park. And he sponsored that tournament, organized that tournament of some of the worst tennis players to ever play at Beaver Park.
And every time I would watch something, my dad would say, to the court reporter, to the court, because this was a hearing on the record, I'd like to put on the record that my daughter, Camille Gauthier, is here, seated. She's a 1L at Tulane Law. She's excelling, and she's doing a great job. And so I don't even know how many court records there are out there that are my dad introducing me for no reason at a hearing. So that, I guess, would be one particular professional-esque memory that I have of him.
Lester is a very well-respected and capable attorney. There's no fanfare, no overselling, and no gimmicks. My family and I are very proud that he took my son Stephen under his wing and mentored him in Stephen's early experience in the law.
I think he richly deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think he's earned it. I think it's also touching that he has doubts as to whether he belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't have any doubts.
So, Dad, congratulations. It was my pleasure to nominate you, and I'm so glad to see you receive this honor. It's been a pleasure and continues to be a pleasure to be your daughter and your colleague in the law.
Lester, I'm very proud of you. You've earned this. And I would also like to say, and I know I'm probably going to butcher this in your native and dear language, Lash Pala Patat Tibug e Felicitation. So congratulations to my very dear friend.
Lester is very well deserving of this Hall of Fame honor, and there's no one that is more deserving than he is. And Lester, I want to, on a personal note, congratulate you on your very first grandchild born only several weeks ago. Thank you.